Hey guys, you're listening to the PetaPixel Podcast, where we talk about all the latest news in the photographic industry and more. But if you're looking for expert advice, incredible selection, and the best deals on photographic equipment, video, lighting, and more, you go to B&H. B&H is PetaPixel's new gear partner. And for even greater savings at B&H, we recommend the B&H Payboo credit card, which lets you save the tax. You pay the tax, and B&H pays you back instantly. Save the tax on all eligible purchases shipped to eligible states. Or you can pay over time with our 6 and 12-month financing on minimum purchases of $199 for 6 months or $599 for 12 months. Terms apply. Learn more at bhphoto.com/Payboo. Credit card offers are always subject to credit approval. Payboo credit card accounts are issued by Comenity Capital Bank.
What's going on here? It's another episode of the PetaPixel Podcast on its regular scheduled launch time, unless something surprising happens between recording and tomorrow. Guys, this is great. Good work, everyone.
Hooray!
And I'm Jordan Drake, but I'm joined by my two regular buddies here, Jaron Schneider and Chris Nichols. But for those people watching, there's a fourth box here. It's another buddy. It's a new buddy.
A new buddy? It's not that
new to the show. New to the show. We have known Dima for quite some time now.
Yeah. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
So we've got Dima joining us, who is going to be producing some upcoming content on PetaPixel's YouTube channel. So stay tuned. Those are going to be coming because you might notice a lot of our videos are kind of a little backloaded later in the week. So we're going to try and break that up with some early week Dima action going on.
Nice.
And how do we know Dima? Could you give us a little backstory, Chris?
Yeah, Dima is a prolific producer and videographer, and we did our Alaska adventure with him last year, which was awesome. And what do I know about Dima? He's obviously genetically gifted.
No
compliments.
No,
Show
no
me
compliments.
What? No,
only criticism, please.
No.
Yeah, just
you know what? No,
guns.
I'm jumping the gun. Actually.
What?
All right. My question this week is: say something you like about Dima, so you can do this while you fill us in on the backstory. Oh, it is.
Order.
And Dima's got to give me an answer too. That's the rule.
Okay, well, I respect Dima's workout, his diligence, his dedication, the size of his guns. For the video users, he's about to flex right now, so everybody who's watching the video can watch.
Don't whip it out of the first video.
We're putting him on the spot. Okay,
you gotta ease into it.
Hide that power.
You gotta buy him dinner first.
All right, he has a charming sense of humor, and he's got giant arms.
I don't know how to follow that up.
Beat that. Follow that. Yeah.
Dima is an excellent videographer. I like having Dima around. He's a great cameraman who's very good at putting other people on camera and being on camera himself.
Yes.
He's skilled and handsome.
I already said that.
Yeah, I know. But you said he was strong. He's tall.
I believe I said he was genetically gifted.
Which one of you is taller? Dima or Jordan?
I'm 6'3".
Jordan. I used to be 6'3".
Yeah.
Now I'm 6'2".
How did that happen?
I've been shrinking.
Getting old,
Yeah,
man.
it's shrinkage. I'm probably suffering from it as well. I should probably double check. Next doctor's appointment. Like, give me the truth, doc. How bad is it?
Your children are sucking the life and bone density
height,
out of
yes.
you. Yes, yeah.
So I got to compliment Dima because he's got good taste in glass. When we were shooting the documentary, he brought out a couple of the MK Fujinons, which are just some of my favorite lenses in the world. And there's something that some of you don't know. When we dropped the trailer for the Alaska video, that was all shot on the GFX Eterna. There's none of the smaller format footage in that thing. But when you see the actual documentary, there is quite a bit of stuff shot on the XH2S with those lenses. And Dima was there for BTS, but it actually wound up being some of the best footage for the actual documentary itself, some sick slow-mo and stuff like that. So he elevated when we couldn't drag the Eternas over fast enough to get the shot. Dima had it covered. Dima, what's something you like about yourself?
What's something that I like about myself? Oh goodness, putting me on the spot. Here's something I remembered that I could still do. We went to like a little music festival this past weekend in New York, and they were playing some salsa music, and I used to do competitive salsa dancing, and I kind of have been rusty a little bit, but I started dancing, and I kind of it all came back. So yeah, I'm still proud of that I can move my body. It probably hurts a little bit this week. I need a little bit of ibuprofen and rest, but it was worth it.
I feel like I'm years away from fully opening and chaptering through the book that is Dima, because you tell me something new about yourself just off the cuff constantly.
17 acts in your life. It's like Catch Me If You Can.
Unendingly enigmatic, this man. So we're glad to have you, Dima, your expertise, your genetics, all of this to join us here, and let's get on with the show.
Well, Dima is actually going to be great today because we're going to talk a little bit about all of these action and gimbal cameras that are coming to the market. They are getting a lot of technical capability that is making them more viable theoretically for high-end use, which is also increasing their price. But does that even matter? Like, who are
that defeating the point?
Yeah. Like what's going on here? And I want to get Jordan and Dima to talk about it. But we've got a ton of news that dropped this week as well. So let's get to it.
Now, of course, before we go on with the show, we have to talk about how this show is even possible. And it's possible because of sponsors like our friends at DxO. Thank you today for sponsoring this episode. You know, it's the middle of summer, which means Milky Way is up. A lot of you are out shooting the night sky. You know, I know here in Calgary, we get nice warm evenings. It's a great time to go do night photography. And if you've ever tried astrophotography, the file that you get, that you bring home, looks nothing like the actual night sky that you stood under. And the magic really comes out in post. The raw file is usually flat, gray, buried in noise, and bringing that Milky Way back to life, it's the whole challenge of night editing. And so DxO makes a set of tools that can handle it from start to finish. First off, you can use DxO Pure Raw pre-editing step that runs before you even touch a single slider in Lightroom or Photoshop. It uses Deep Prime. This is DxO's AI-powered noise reduction tool, along with built-in lens corrections for your exact camera and lens combination. On a high ISO night, that is going to be the difference between the file you can use and one that you would have to throw away. It just cleans it up. The order, it like gets this all right at the start before you even get it into Lightroom. And so it's really giving you that optimum image quality. Clean the file first, then you can add your sharpening, your contrast, all that right away. But if you do that to a noisy night frame afterwards, you're just baking all that in. So this is a really important step. Once it's clean, you can then get a bit more creative, have fun, use Nik color effects. That's part of DxO's new Nik Collection 9. That's where you can start to like get the haze out of the sky, pull some detail out of the core, add interesting colors, really play along with it. Nik Collection 9's also got added AI masking, so you can easily choose a subject or a depth map to really just affect the parts of the photo that you want to adjust. None of this painting selections by hand, and so that's really helpful as well. If you want to see how it's done, and I think personally this is the best thing about DxO, is they get people, experts, to actually give you the information on how to use the software, not just try to sell it. So OM System Ambassador Matt Seuss, very skilled night photographer, he just walked through this entire workflow on PetaPixel, goes from a noisy high ISO raw file, rebuilds it into a finished Milky Way photo using Pure Raw, then going into Lightroom, then Nik color effects, step by step. You can just see that whole process and learn for yourself. Read it right now on the PetaPixel website or click the link in the video description and you can find out more. Of course, we always have discounts for you guys. If you're a PetaPixel Podcast listener, you get 15% off any DxO software, any of it. So Pure Raw, Nik Collection 9, whatever you want, use the code PetaPixel Summer 2026 at checkout and you will save 15%. Just go to DxO.com, use that. Thanks again to DxO for sponsoring today's episode.
Thank you, DxO. We really appreciate it. They're becoming a more regular sponsor, so that means we appreciate it all the more. Thank you for the support. All right, let's get to the news. And I'm going to start this with my morning today, as we were recording this, was kicked off with frustration because I was asked to look over an article for a final edit from Jeremy Gray.
Legend.
Great writer, excellent technical mind. And
very good at explaining things.
Outstanding
That's
at
key.
it.
Very
He's
good at
very
explaining.
good at it.
Yes.
So when he sent me this article, which is titled "Why VSCO Believes Its New $500 Subscription is Worth It for Pros," yeah, you heard that right. It's a $500 subscription. And I read this article, and I left it more confused than when I started. That's not Jeremy's fault. that's VSCO's fault. And I really wish they could sort this out. So last week, VSCO announced a platform called VSCO One. And with it is a $500 subscription fee. But there's also another piece of VSCO called Studio Pro, which is a editing and compiling app similar to Lightroom, but it's not on a desktop yet. So there's no standalone software, and it doesn't handle RAW.
It only came out for iOS, right? That was the first thing, but now they're trying to make it for Mac OS.
Right.
Okay.
So that's
I have a spreadsheet in front of me now. Here we go.
VSCO One includes VSCO Studio Pro.
Okay.
However, VSCO has other products that are also mentioned that are sort of tied into VSCO One. And like if you go to their website, they have VSCO Starter, VSCO Plus, and VSCO Pro, which is different.
But you already
than
said
VSCO.
Pro.
I know.
What?
This is where I started to lose my mind because they're using the same words over and over again to describe wholly different products.
Okay, but is this different from Studio Pro?
Yes.
Okay, right. Okay. Studio
So-
Pro subscription, VSCO One designed for pros.
But Dima, you got this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay.
I'm following.
Okay. And it's Pro, but there's no RAW support yet.
So here's the
Okay.
thing. This is, I believe that it is VSCO's fault that this has been confused. There was reporting that came before this that was like this new VSCO Studio Pro was going to cost $500 a year, and it only is on your iPhone and it doesn't support RAWs, which sounds insane and stupid. To VSCO's credit, that's not what that is. VSCO
Yeah.
Studio Pro is free to use. However, to get all of the pieces in similar like Affinity fashion, you do have to have some sort of a membership to it. But if you get VSCO One, it includes VSCO
see.
Studio Pro. But
Oh
in
my
order
God.
to get the full Studio Pro and not VSCO One, you need a VSCO Pro membership. Do you see why I wanted to pull my hair out? Because they
Okay.
used the same words over and over again. So I don't blame the publication that got this confused and wrong because it's not their fault. It shouldn't be up to the media to try
Yeah.
and decipher what a company's doing.
But they're
At any
trying to
rate-
offer products for free or with a fairly nominal subscription fee, $60 a year if you want the full version of Studio Pro.
Well, that's twice a Petapixel membership, Chris.
Yeah, okay. Don't start bringing in our Pro membership, Jordan. We're gonna.
It's not even
everybody's
called
be
that.
so
It's just
confused.
called a membership. We don't use the word pro. We don't use
We should do a
plus.
Petapixel. Can we do a Pro membership as well?
I don't
Can we do
want to.
Petapixel Plus Pro membership?
I don't want that. I don't want to.
Okay.
It's so
That's how you get the
confusing.
feet picked.
Okay, well, okay.
Gross.
Which we actually make a ton of money on. Anyway,
What
so you're
VSCO
okay.
One is, what VSCO One is VSCO Studio Pro and a bunch of other things. So the $500 actually gets you a bunch of like usability tools for running a business. So when you add up all of the stuff it offers and you look at what a standard professional photographer would have to buy, you have to buy a place to store your pictures, to deliver them, to manage your calendars and all that stuff. You're probably paying more than $500 a year.
Sure. I mean, companies do
Cumulatively.
these too. Like, so this is where we have to. I think I'm starting to get it. Studio Pro is their sort of editing software that they are improving. Absolutely. I mean, they're trying to attempt to improve this. This is what a lot of people might want to use to do batch editing, capture that, do presets, that kind of stuff. The VSCO One, this has Studio Pro, but really it's for the business-centric offerings. And when you look at $500 a year, we don't know if that's justified yet or not, but this is going to be a business expense everybody's going to write off anyways. This is who it's targeted at. So it's kind of a non-issue in that way. But this is basically the client management, the scheduling, the invoicing, letting people visit the galleries and see the photos you took of their family shots or their wedding pictures or whatever. They can then do ordering for prints and stuff like that, I'm sure. So it's really we've seen software like this from other companies too. This is the business management software to make a photographer's access to clients and to other creatives that they're using for video editing and stuff just simpler and easier and all integrated in one place.
I'm just frustrated by VSCO's inability to explain its own products concisely and well. I went to VSCO's website, and this also doesn't help that if you go to their website right now, the VSCO One product that they've described to media doesn't exist anywhere on their website. You can find a landing page for it that has literally no information on it. It's a rainbow picture that says VSCO One is coming, and there's no description whatsoever of what that means. So I would just ask VSCO, to please make this less confusing. Like when you click on products, let's see here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 12 products that show up when you click on the products on their top bar. And then if you look at apps and downloads, there's 5 more. Like this is so confusing and disjointed that you're not gonna pull someone in here because they have no idea what they need to purchase.
Well, so here's the thing is like they've got all this other stuff. Like there's VSCO Workspace, or the freelance photographer. Like they have all these other apps, VSCO Capture, VSCO Galleries,
that I think
VSCO
are
Canvas.
under the VSCO One umbrella.
So really what they're saying is give us $500 a year and you don't have to worry about this anymore. Otherwise, good luck delving into all of our...
you into spending?
Yeah, they're like, are you confused? $500 a year and it all goes away, okay? Do you want this torture to end? $500 a year is all it takes, and then you can go back home to your family. So I think that's...
VSCO it actually stands for a very super confusing organization. That's what
Wow,
it means.
very nice, Jordan. Dima, have you ever used VSCO, or do you use any of the things that we've described, like business asset tools?
A long time ago, I used VSCO, but
everyone did back in the day. It was like the iPhone processor.
Yeah.
That's the last time.
We're seeing a lot of push for this. Like there's a lot of influencers, doing it. They're doing some sponsorships and stuff. And I'm sure, I guess maybe the only thing that I find a little strange is that VSCO Studio, VSCO Studio Pro,
the app,
is not quite pro yet, right?
No.
But I'm sure that's going to change. And once that happens, maybe this would all make sense where you're like, okay, I can take my photos, capture them, edit them, process them on whatever platform, not just my phone. And then I can send those to my galleries. My clients can see them. I mean, that would, I think, make sense for a lot of people.
I would like you to try Studio
Don't
Pro
do this to me.
when the
No.
software's ready, Chris. I mean, you don't have to write a review on it. I'm just curious if
fair enough.
like it's supposed to be like a Lightroom competitor at some point, but they haven't finished it yet. So
And we're being cynical because, it's great that there's other alternatives. We need to have other alternatives. They're not the only company doing it, and you have more choice than ever before. But this just feels like they're coming out with this a little bit, cart before the horse. But let's see how it goes.
all right. That was frustrating. Moving on. Sony's getting into LOFIC. They have announced a new LOFIC image sensor where they promise nearly 17 stops of dynamic range. I'm going to pause right there because I want to ask you, Jordan, why is everyone saying 17 stops of dynamic range now? Is that just the limits of what dynamic range of the human eye is? Like, why is that what we're saying now?
I mean, it's above what you can theoretically pack into a 10-bit log file. So I think that's why they're just like, it has lots of dynamic range. We could sort of maybe get away with saying 17. Now, how much of that is usable, that becomes my job then to take a look at. But everybody is throwing that away. I mean, technically, as I'm under embargo, I have never processed any files from a LOFIC sensor for video before, but I know that Chris has, and universally, the consensus seems to be like the highlight headroom is awesome on these chips.
I mean, there are products out that are going to start pushing this nearly 17 stops of dynamic range, and I think we live in a world now where dynamic range, we have a lot of it, more than we've ever had before. It's not a bad thing to have more, but it's kind of becoming diminishing returns. But I do think LOFIC is going to be the sort of buzzword for certainly the second half of this year and certainly into next year. Like, this does seem to be now the next level of sensor technology. There's a lot of fancy stuff, but basically what's going on is, like, when light hits a typical sensor, a lot of that highlight information, that electricity and that data just gets blown away. It just flies off like Mars atmosphere into space. The solar winds just rip it off the sensor surface. Yeah, Jordan, I know, it makes sense. And what LOFIC is doing is basically, rather than lose that extra highlight information, it is simply capturing it in a separate receptacle, so to speak, right? So the analogy that we were given when we looked at the Xiaomi phone, the Ultra 17, which uses a LOFIC sensor in its main camera, was you've got your big bucket that captures the majority of the light, and normally the extra water would just spill out and dribble on the floor and be lost. We basically put a tray under that bucket so that extra highlight information gets captured in the tray, and then the
now that's a metaphor.
Right? And then the processor can use all of that water, right? So I love the files out of the Xiaomi 17. It certainly punched well above its weight. Being able to capture extra highlight information is always useful. It means that maybe as technology gets better and better, metering on a camera is going to become less and less, not important. I don't want to say important, but less and less specific.
Dima, do you have any thoughts on any of this?
Are these only from what I understand, they're only for they've only been made in smaller form, right?
Exactly.
Smaller
Yes.
sensors. So I'm wondering how all of that get what the demand is in terms of just having them in phones. I obviously don't use phones enough for any of my work. I kind of stick to the larger sensors, but I'm wondering what the demand and how are people going to take these theoretical 17 stops of latitude and then to process them from your phone onto, you know what I mean? It's such obviously the goal is probably to push this out into more professional environments, but I'm wondering how well they'll take off when they're just inside these phones.
Well, and
Chris,
go ahead.
Go ahead, Jordan. No, go ahead.
I always kind of joke about how we have all these stops of dynamic range, and especially with video, and JPEGs as well, we're pushing them into such a small space that you're often getting wax faced. That's the smartphone look, is when they're just jamming too much in there and it starts to look very unnatural. So for the majority of people who are using these sensors and just spitting out, 709 footage or JPEGs, it's not a big benefit. And I think what's really cool that we're going to see in the next little while is we have two new competing technologies that are starting to roll out into larger sensors. And that's, you've got your stacked sensors, which are all about speed. And now you've got this that's all about dynamic range. What's going to make things really competitive is we're starting to see the speed on fully stacked sensors just being used to stack images and give you more dynamic range. So who's going to win at the end of the day, right? If the LOFIC sensor reads out slower, and that has penalties for your video and your photography rolling shutter and stuff like that, but more dynamic range, are people just going to look at a stacked sensor, which can now, in a lot of cases, like the new Sony A7R6, provide you better dynamic range than a conventional sensor. So the LOFIC on the big sensors is going to have to be just a staggeringly large dynamic range. And then again, how useful is that?
Chris, I was going to ask you, when we were shooting with the Xiaomi 17 Ultra, which has a LOFIC sensor, did you notice in the main camera, not in the telephoto?
Yeah.
Did you notice in editing that the files felt like they came from a larger or a different sensor than you're used to with a camera like that?
It's hard to say. First off, we have to remember that image quality isn't just dynamic range, right? There's lots of things. The lens, the glass, how it interpolates the data. There's so many aspects that make a photo look the way you might want it to look. I will say that there's absolute difference between the main camera and the other cameras. I know that's something we see on a lot of other phones, but it was beyond just sensor size. It did have far more usable highlight data. I wasn't worried so much about any sort of metering issues or blown highlights and stuff like that. It handled contrast well. Noise was good. I think overall, though, the Xiaomi look, if I'm being completely honest, what I liked about the photos was more the way they processed it, their color profiles and stuff. But the LOFIC sensor certainly had an image quality noticeable benefit. And it felt like shooting maybe Micro Four Thirds in a lot of ways. And Jordan's right. There's different techniques. The cool thing about
so
LOFIC...
much smaller than Micro Four Thirds. So if it felt that's huge.
That's true. That's absolutely true, Jaron. Yeah. And the cool thing about LOFIC is it's not stacking photos, right? Stacking photos is a great sort of workaround, and that's kind of where we're at right now. But it either has to be done with small sensors that are fast, or it has to be done with expensive large sensors, right? And even then, not everybody's really mastered it. A lot of companies out there still haven't quite, Sony still needs to figure out their stuff because they can't do it on chip and stuff, right? You have to do it on the computer. It's hopefully we'll start to see these benefits in the larger sensors, or will LOFIC make its way to larger sensors, right? Because that would be cool too. And as far as dynamic range from an image quality standpoint, again, I feel like the push is maybe more for easier use by beginners and casual users. The idea being that you can just shoot and not really worry about exposure, contrast, that kind of stuff, and then just be able to recover whatever afterwards. As opposed, like as a more professional photographer, I personally have never had an issue getting the dynamic range I want for years now, assuming that I've exposed fairly correctly, right? The benefit to me seems here like you wouldn't have to worry about things like exposing correctly or managing contrast or making certain metering changes given the light you're in. But who knows? I mean, maybe that's the future.
In video, at least I can speak to it on the Xiaomi. I feel like it's just more forgiving of really contrasty environments. And I will agree, in many cases, except when when it was a little too dark, I could start to see it fall apart. Like it was more challenging. But in many of the daytime situations when we were shooting with with the Xiaomi, like it graded so well.
It did.
Like I was looking, like, wow, this looks spectacular. So I would agree that in a larger number of cases, it felt like a bigger sensor than it would have been if I was using a regular smartphone.
Yeah. You're all going to hear this LOFIC word a lot more and more often, I think, here. Yeah, definitely.
Moving right along, we got a announcement last week that Fujifilm will be hosting a Fujikina in New York in October, from the October 16th to 18th. This is the first time that Fujifilm will be back in New York City since 2022, which is kind of wild considering how big of a market New York City is, like going this long without one. Dima, did you go to the last one?
I did. I was at the 22 one.
Yeah.
I didn't make it to the other Fujikinas after that, but I was at the 22 one.
Was there a launch at the 22? I'm trying to remember.
I am trying to remember too. I don't.
Hold on. I have the technology.
Yeah, you do. I don't remember there being a big announcement, but
I don't think there was.
Yeah.
I don't think there was. But so that one.
Fujikinas are cool. Yeah, I mean, they're cool. They do these all over major cities all around the world, which is pretty amazing. They do a lot of them, and they're not just for product releases. I mean, the fact is there might not even be a product release. I mean, obviously we don't know, but they are about like celebration of photography. They bring in a lot of guest speakers. They have a lot of art events. They got a lot of free events that people can do, galleries, all that kind of stuff. So it's often a very big, exciting event. Usually goes for a couple days.
They did not announce an X Summit along with this. So the X Summit is where you'll see a new product announcement of some kind. And I got to say, if we get all the way to October and we don't get anything out of Fujifilm this year, that would be weird.
Quiet year.
That would be very weird. So I don't know, fingers crossed, keep your eye out and hope. But like if we're just going through this year celebrating what we've already got, that would be unusual, especially given the year Fujifilm had last year. Like that was a pretty packed year. We felt like some of the stuff may have gotten a little bit delayed over its original timeline launch. Like I think, Chris, you thought that maybe that the Instax, the one with the Eras dial, you thought that would have kind of belonged in the previous year, but it sort of it slipped into like January.
Oh, right. Yeah, the cinema.
Yeah. That kind of felt like the vibe of 2025.
The year of dials, 2025.
But we didn't get anything else from them. I mean, Instax is it. Nothing.
But again, it's confusing because in a good way, because they do a lot of events, right? Like last year they did a couple. They did London, Clun.
Well, they did two other Fujikinas this year already. They did one in Copenhagen and one in Warsaw.
Yeah.
Those just recently concluded, but with no X Summits.
No, just events for people to get together and to do stuff and so yeah, it's a cool idea. It's a cool event. We attended the one in Prague, which was awesome, super fun. Like they do some neat stuff.
Yeah, Dima, since you've been to a Fujikina and probably took part in the whole event, because Chris and I were busy in Prague shooting a review. If someone goes to a Fujikina, what should they make sure to not miss? What should they expect?
I love that the speakers that they bring in, all of their creators. There's a lot of like just ideas being kind of shared and circulated around. So I think definitely like getting a lot of their speakers. I like working a little bit with their action photographers, working with like people like Irene Yee and Michael Clark, like seeing them just talk about the crazy shit they've done over the years, just hanging off of cliffs and like being under waterfalls. Like that stuff is exciting to me. Plus there are a ton of cameras come out to all of these events. So they do photo walks. So even if you don't have a camera that you bring with you, they just hand you a camera and a lens, let you pick out of a table. So definitely that's like a huge thing too, is that like you just get to see and touch and feel all the products. So yeah.
One last thing to mention, a PetaPixel listener named Marcin, I'm going to go with Marcin. If I said that wrong, I apologize.
Marcini.
Reached out and said that I said on the podcast that I would have loved to attend the Warsaw or Copenhagen Fujikina.
For reasons of pins, correct?
Correct. Well, this is what he emailed. It just so happens I live in Warsaw, and although I don't shoot Fujifilm anymore, I decided to attend and pick up some of the Fujifilm gadget, including the pin, and I would love to send those to you.
That's very nice.
Thank you very much. I look forward to that. No one ever has to send us anything. Like, don't.
I think we've talked about this on the podcast, though. Fujifilm has a very beautiful graphic design sort of aesthetic that they put on all the Fujikinas. And
you got all your pins, Dima?
I stole a bunch of them from one of the last NABs. They just I feel like they all do this like limited series.
Yeah.
If you're not there.
But they make some like really cool posters and some really cool press material and stuff too. Like, it's pretty neat.
Yeah. All right, Jordan. I know you love cinema lenses. Love them. You just can't get enough of them.
How about I find when I'm on set they're very useful, Jaron.
In your everyday life, you just love them. Well,
sometimes I like a smaller lens. Not gonna lie.
Well, these ones are small. Seven Artisan has announced an entry-level cinema line that starts at $279.
Wow. That price is bananas.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, Dima,
and what was it for a set? It was like $850 for the whole set or something.
Get the whole thing. Dima, Jordan, at what point in your careers would have been like, you know what, I'm going to do that?
If I wanted to work on sets all the time, it would be really nice to have geared, matched lenses. That's when. That's when you want cheap stuff. When you're a film school student. These won't be used on TV shows.
Or
and
if you're doing
movies.
a bunch of if you have a crash cam, you can easily put a prime on it
and not worry about
not be worried about
it. I mean, this is their Dream Cine Lens series, the Dream series.
Very accessible Dream.
50, 35, 50, and 75. So we're talking 3 lenses. We're not talking like a full 8 lens kit. Okay?
3 lenses for less than $900 is insane.
Totally. And they are T-stop to 1.5, so they're fast. Are they good? Who knows? Do people even want good now? Like, I bet people are going to try these and be like, oh, it flares like crazy. I love it. Who knows? Like, I'm sure Jordan will be, you're already swimming in a whole bunch of cine lenses you're supposed to test, right? Like,
this isn't getting added to the pile.
No.
But what I did find really interesting, typically when we see super affordable cine launches, is they're rehoused versions of existing formulas. Right. But I scrolled around and I'm not seeing a bunch of f1.4 options, although they have some f1.1s, so maybe these just don't transmit light at all, and they're based on f1.1 formulas that don't transmit a lot of light. That's possible, but unlikely, I would say. So chances are these are built from the ground up for cine.
Yeah.
They are available in E, Z, RF, and L mounts. So obviously a very specific target user here, since it's not I don't see the words P or the letters P and L in here, which means it's not made for anyone who's like super serious,
it's a short flange back too, which makes it easier to design better lenses. But it means you're not going to be able to slap it on PL or EF mount, which are the more common cinema mounts.
But it's for you crazy hybrid shooters.
What was that, Dima?
I wonder how much these things weigh. Like, I wonder if they're
quite light.
Yeah.
We usually have that information. If we don't, it's because they didn't say.
Yeah.
They looked pretty small on there, and there's a full spec page on the website. I could dig that up while you guys are chatting.
They do have oversized image circles. I mean, they don't look, judging by the lens mount, they don't look overly big, but I mean, no doubt cine lenses will still be larger and heavier than like your typical mirrorless formulas.
Between 717 and 806 grams.
Yeah, but they're big boys.
Yeah, it's got some weight.
88 millimeter filter threads, so that you can bigger, larger.
Yeah,
88's weird.
It's no ISO prime though.
88 or
is
86?
weird. It says 88 on their website.
Because
90 is standard external diameter. That's very odd.
Yeah.
Good luck, Jordan.
I'm not. No.
Do those weights mean anything to you, Dima? Does that sound about right?
It's not like I was wondering if the bodies are like plasticky feeling, or if they're
I bet they're
they
metal.
actually have some
I bet
heft.
they're metal. Yeah. 800 grams is what?
Half an Izu.
Half. How about a noct?
That would be
Just under half an oct.
that would be 2/5 of an oct.
Yeah.
You can tell this is my day job.
Yeah.
Moving on. Viltrox announced a autofocusing. This is important because we've seen a lens that looks like this that doesn't do that. It doesn't actually do anything. It's a $99 28 millimeter f4.5 for L mount.
Yay!
And it looks like it's perfect for the S9 and the BF because Panasonic's attempt at this was Jordan, explain that as best you can. What the
Yeah, it was really
launch of the
bad.
S9?
It was a manual focus, dark lens. The manual focus didn't even have a distance scale on it. It was clearly slapped together 17 minutes before the announcement of the S9 because they needed something small to put on that camera, and the zoom lens wasn't ready yet. And it sucks. And this looks like it'll be a pretty good option. It's already available in other mounts, and people, it's a $100 lens, but people seem to like the performance out of it. And you could just leave this little bitty pancake on there and not worry about a body cap or anything. Yeah, it's beautiful. Love it. Great job, Viltrox. A+.
Well, I mean, so this is not a new lens. This has been out for a couple of years.
Yeah.
As Jordan kind of
It's just coming to L
It's
mount.
been available. Yeah, it's just coming to L mount. That's the new thing. But I mean, that makes sense on maybe the S9. But I don't love these lenses. I'm not going to crap on them because, $100, right? Like, it's a fun distraction if you want to play with it. Some people like to treat them like lens cap. It is cool that this autofocuses because, as you mentioned, that was one of the major problems with the last one.
I believe the aperture also changes.
The aperture's fixed at f4.5, so
it?
that's annoying. Yeah, fixed.
So what's that little dial at the bottom?
I think that's actual, like,
lens cap.
yeah, right.
Oh, well then I take it back.
Cap.
Sorry, Chris.
Yeah. So it's nice that it autofocuses, but you're getting limited. It's slow. It's f4.5 fixed. You can't change for depth of field. You can't change for like different looks for sun stars or anything. So for me, this is still, it falls short. I'm like, I have no interest in playing with this personally. But
$100 reduce.
$100 redo.
For $100, I feel like this is if Lumix had done this instead of what they did, that would have been better.
Yeah, I think they would have really avoided some of the initial backlash there.
I mean, the 26 millimeter Lumix lens was an f8. Like, it was slow. It was, even with that slow aperture, you'd be shocked how often you were out of focus with that thing. It just wasn't very sharp to focus by. Like, but hey, there you go. Fun. The sample photos look like photos. Little
Raves
hazy.
Chris Nichols of PetaPixel.
Yeah.
That's
Little
a
hazy,
quote.
little
The
soft.
photos look like photos.
People might like that. If you want to have photos that look like photos, there you go.
Snosberries taste like snosberries. Affinity is now coming pre-installed on Windows Surface computers moving forward, or at least for a while. So I guess you could call it nice bloatware. Windows loves pre-installing stuff on your computer, right, Chris? Absolutely loves throwing stuff on there that you didn't ask for.
Sure. I mean, do people still buy Surface laptops?
Well, they keep making them. So
I guess so. So. Who's buying these things?
I don't know. But what I found interesting about this was that Adobe specifically harpooned their relationship with Apple, this is all like conversation behind closed doors. People think this is what went down, but effectively Adobe was like, hey, Apple, if you stop making aperture, that'd be great. And we can just, be friends forever. And Apple was
You're
like,
talking way back in the day.
Back in the day. And Apple's like, sure, we'll stop making aperture. And then Adobe and Apple can be best buddies forever and target graphic designers together. Eventually Microsoft and Adobe started talking. Adobe's like, you know what? We don't just want Apple. We want everything. And they repositioned themselves as being more of a PC computer software. And Apple suddenly was like, well, that stinks. Well, I don't know. Adobe sacrificed that once excellent relationship with Apple to pursue the PC space. Now, as a thank you, Microsoft is featuring one of Adobe's biggest competitors as built-in software. And so at the end of my article, I wrote "et tu, Brute." So because that to me felt very apt.
A torrid tale of jilted lovers. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, just like, nobody has any loyalty anymore. Dima, have you ever used Affinity or any of Canva's software?
I use Canva. I'm not familiar enough with Affinity. I've kind of, the split between, so I guess like InDesign would be the closest thing to Canva on what Adobe's offering in terms of all their like big software. But I've been drifting more and more towards it just because of the simplicity of it. If I need something quick, if I need something a little bit more kind of in depth, then I do come back to Adobe. But I've never used the Affinity side of that.
Yeah. Jaron keeps asking me to do it, and I keep avoiding it.
I've used it a bit. I haven't had like a lens test or something like that I can use it with. But I found the process fairly intuitive. Like the organization, I'd really have to dig into to see if that could actually replace dedicated software. But in terms of throwing raw files at it and getting usable exports, it seemed pretty intuitive, and I didn't mind it at all, especially for free.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's free, which is quite nice.
Which makes it coming pre-installed on the computer not that big a deal.
Yeah, no, because it's like, sure, why not? Whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, 3 more stories. This is a quick one. Pelican. There are cases that Pelican makes that are not like they aren't just the ones you're thinking of when you close your eyes and you think Pelican. That's a very specific.
I'm thinking about Alaska right now, and I'm getting stressed again, Jaron.
Just out of curiosity. That case that I'm describing, the one that everyone just calls a Pelican case, what's it actually called? Do any of you know? Without looking at this article.
4 digits of numbers.
It's a
like
protector.
a 1510 or 1560, I think.
Chris, you
you're talking the model, but it's
No.
the Protector series.
It's called the Protector series. Did you actually know that, or did you just read this article?
Protector series, yeah. But, because, this is a good point, is like when people think about Pelican cases, you're thinking about your classic hard plastic case, roller wheels on. I mean, the 1510 is like an industry standard, right? Everybody and their dog have a 1510 because it's so useful. But of course, Pelican make like duffel bags, they make luggage, they make all sorts of gun cases, rifle everything,
cases.
right? Yeah.
So Pelican's like signature case, the one that everyone calls just a Pelican, is called the Protector series. And they've made it a little bit better. I was talking to Jeremy about this yesterday. And I said, it's more resistant to impacts. And his response was, what, does it dodge them then? Because I've never actually seen anything pierce a Pelican. So bullets probably, a steel I-beam fired out of a cannon, maybe. But they are now 12% more resistant to impacts. They have better rigidity under load, so transport or deep sea deployment. They have improved UV resistance, which means that they won't start, discoloring and cracking if you leave them in the sun for, I'm assuming, 3
thousands
straight
of
years. Yeah, like I don't know how you improve upon that, but okay. And they changed a couple of other things. The clips that hold them closed they have a button on them, slightly different. The wheels are using steel as the core now, better bearings. They've built in this new support for this Pelican lamp that sits like right inside the top cover.
It's a nice idea.
18 hours of battery life on that, which is pretty dope.
Sometimes it's dark in there.
Yeah. I don't know. These look really cool. I'd like to. I don't think I can destroy my current Pelican. So I'm not sure that I would have any luck doing so with this, but they're neat.
I feel like, so basically what they're doing is they're using this new HPX material. Otherwise, the case is basically the same design. It's just other than, as you mentioned, small bearings on the wheels and stuff. Yeah. But I mean, if you think about classic Pelican cases, the plastic that they were using is quite soft, actually. Like, you can put good gouges in your Pelican case. I've seen it. I've done it. Like, it happens. It's just that the plastic's so thick, you never gouge all the way through. And I mean, they can take years of abuse, but like, it's not like they're impervious. They take a lot of battle damage. And they just keep going, right? Like, but yeah, and you can chuck them and throw them and stuff. So, and actually the plastic has always been a little bit soft. You can press on it and squeeze it and things. So if they're more rigid, nice, you can stand on them. Not that we didn't with our original
already
ones.
did that.
All the time.
Poor man's apple box.
Yeah, but I mean, you take a hard tool to a Pelican case, an old school one, you'll cut through it quick enough. Like so this is great. More rigid, more rugged, fantastic. I guess there was room for improvement and they've done it. But
I am
just take it for granted.
I am curious to see how the new material works because I feel like that's the one thing with my Pelican. I'm looking at it right now. I tend to overpack it. Like I pack it to the brim.
Of course you do. You're a photographer.
Yeah, exactly. Just all of the. Well, I mean, for all of like the cinema accessories, all of like the weird. Everything. So when I overpack it, I know that it kind of the plastic does start to bulge and form. And I don't really know how well my water seal works at this point, because I do see a little lip, a little crust on there.
Great.
So, but
That's
I'm
what I'm
curious to
saying.
see what the difference is with this.
I've requested review units when they're prepared. So Dima, if you want to try and wreck one, sure, man.
I will.
That'd be a sweet video.
Yeah. Like how much abuse can the Pelican take? And is it 12% better? That's what they claim, by the way, 12% better impact resistance.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means in reality.
Yes. I'll enlist my kid also to help. He's a wrecking ball. So
There you go. Just put like all your kids' artwork in there, like stuff that you don't ever want to lose. You know what I mean? Like one-off things, and put it in the case, and then just do horrible things.
Family heirlooms, things like that. I want you to shoot it out of a large slingshot at yourself and just try and like punch it out of the air. I think that would be high quality content. We could all get.
I do still have my trebuchet under the basement here. If we could
In the crawl space?
Yeah, we could always launch the smaller cases. Yeah.
Next to your Festivus pole. Moving on. Jordan, you mentioned earlier that like you were thinking those 7 Artisans are just like rehoused versions of their regular lenses, perhaps, but you couldn't really see
But I was
anything.
wrong.
Well, how about going the other direction? What if we took a cinema lens and rehoused it to be a photography lens?
Well, it'd have to be pretty good.
NiSi did that with their 16mm f2.8, which is the fastest ultra-wide prime lens made for medium format cameras. So that's GFX and Hasselblad XCD, with the note that on Hasselblad you can't use their leaf shutter. It would have to be
Yeah, of course. It's electronic only, 'cause
Electronic.
that's not going to be built into this.
So Fujifilm probably is the better fit. 16mm f2.8. I have requested a unit to go to Jeremy, because Jeremy has a GFX and he likes Astro, and they've said that this will be a good Astro lens. You both, I assume, Dima, you do, also have experience with NiSi's primes. I think the Athena line, right?
Yeah, Alaska.
Yeah.
It just keeps coming back to, man, this whole episode's about that dog. We saw the coverage is excellent on a medium format.
Don't love
size
how they
sensor.
flared. Don't love that.
No, we had some issues with that. And I think it's worth pointing out as well, this is going to be equivalent to a 13mm f2.2, which again puts it just like right in the sweet spot for astro photography. So I do think that makes a lot of sense to flip that over. But we had coverage on the very large sensors. I wouldn't say the corners were dynamite. Because we're not delivering the movie in an open gate, 4:3 aspect ratio. It's always cropped a little bit to compensate for that. So I'm curious when we look at a full resolution file, how they'll actually hold up. But they were pretty good optically. But like Jaren's saying, there's some quirks with them for sure. But they're pretty affordable compared to like ultra wide medium format lenses. Expensive.
Yeah. How much do they want?
Just to be clear, though, so NiSi does make a prime lens already, like a 16mm f2.9 T-stopped for cine. We don't know that this is the same formula.
The formula looks exactly the same to me, but they didn't say. Like
Yeah,
it's
they might
the
have
same
made
number
some-
of elements and groups. So
Right.
it feels like a rehoused version. But again, that's just me looking at the optical formula and making assumptions.
Yeah.
So don't listen to
I mean,
me.
they're saying that it's got excellent coma control and good edge-to-edge performance. I mean, of course, everybody says that, but let's see what that means.
Well, Jeremy's going to go point it at the sky and he'll tell us if it actually does do that.
Well, and with a lot of cinema lenses, they're letting them flare. That's a look people are going for. Like, again, those Sigma Izu primes and stuff, they could just put different coatings on this and control that flare potentially a little bit better.
If it's good,
potentially.
$1,500 isn't crazy. Yeah, if it's good.
Last story. We've got an update on Light Lens Labs' attempts at making a brand new black and white film, which I'm interested in. I think Chris is interested in that too.
Sure. Yeah, that's wild.
They are saying that they're developing it to have unique character, and they've addressed some of the problems that they encountered in its development process thus far. Things are looking good. I'm not sure when they're actually hoping to have this ready to go. Probably at this point by next year, I would think. But they're going to release it in 35 and 120.
Ooh.
But they've said today the production roadmap now includes 127, 126, 4x5, 8x10, and quote additional formats. So once they make this, they're just going to print this thing in every possible configuration.
So do we know, Jaron, are they using an existing emulsion manufacturer, or are they doing this on their own?
It is my understanding that the team of what appears to be one guy and his glass grinding machine is just doing this all on his own. Yeah, I think
that's nuts.
It's not just one dude. It's definitely a group of people. But yeah,
Sure.
they're not working with somebody else as far as I understand it.
Whoa.
They acquired all of the equipment to make this stuff on their own and are just like going hard.
That's crazy.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
seeing
sorry.
The image with them. I assume the image on the article here is with the static electricity, like that they have to troubleshoot all of these issues that I assume all the major manufacturers already dialed in, but they're like, oh, okay, I guess this thing.
I guess that's a thing because we got to fix that. yeah. They're quite literally reinventing the wheel here because they're working by themselves.
Yeah. Doing tabular grain structure. Yeah, like this is crazy. Yeah, so it actually does say here they moved their production of this to their existing lens factory. So yeah, they're making on their own. That's nuts. Well, good luck to them.
What I'm seeing here in these sample photos, if they maintain this sort of look to them, this looks very Acros-y to me in the sense that it's got a wider like visible dynamic range from the exposed image. Like I don't think it's pushing the shadows or the highlights too hard either way, which I personally like because that means you can do more work in the darkroom with it and push them the directions you want to. And by darkroom I mean in my scans, but you could theoretically do it in the darkroom if you were really hardcore and way cooler than me. But I like that.
Wild.
I like a little bit of more neutral black and whites so that I can do more in post.
It's funny though, like all their sample photos look like they shot these in the 1940s or something. Like, yeah, it's kind of interesting subject matter, but this is cool. Yeah.
I hope it's sharp. That's the only thing I really care about. Because a lot of the new films that we're seeing aren't super sharp. They're more just like a vibe. And I'm like, I can't make artwork with this. It's more like share stuff with friends, sort of. And I want like sharp, pretty, usable black and white. All right.
Crazy.
Let's have you and Dima, Jordan, should talk about the viability and like what is going on in this market. So to recap what we said in the beginning, action cameras and gimbal cameras appear to be adding really high-end pro-level features to what are not really high-end pro-level products. GoPro might be the one exception in that they use them. You can still use them in like movies and television production as like very specific cameras for specific things. But they're getting more expensive because they keep trying to make them more professionally viable. And I'm just wondering, is that the play?
Well, I think there's a little history with the GoPro, which I didn't touch on my already long review that published recently, which is Sony tried this with the RX0. It was a little action camera with a Type 1 sensor that was designed for professionals. They were like, do not sell this under any circumstances to someone with a skateboarder. Don't do it. So that flopped. We had it at the camera store. They largely didn't move. Eventually, they discounted the hell out of them. So it was just not a product. Everyone was just like, well, we'll just use GoPros. It's going to look worse. But everybody knows that aesthetic anyways. We roll with it in productions where we need those angles. So the GoPro, definitely puts it in a tricky situation. And when I saw the initial launch, one thing I didn't factor in is the fact that big sensor was going to really push your minimum focus back. And I found that very trying when I was using it. Like just the places I'd like to put an ultra wide camera are close to my subject in cool places. And all that footage was out of focus. So butting up against that as like a situation where I'd be like, oh, I'll use an action camera for that. Because otherwise, if I'm just going to get like a small Sony mirrorless camera with a small lens and be able to do something similar, but with like focus and a big screen and all the advantages that we get from those traditional cameras. So I feel like they're kind of boxing themselves in a little on the action camera market. What do you think? Dima, first of all, do you use these small ones, the gimbal cams, the action cams, anything like that?
Not for me personally, but it's interesting to define. I mean, I use them like, so this is what I'm curious about is like defining what is professional, what is the pro end? Because like we can define it as the bigger, cinema productions, or there's other creators who use nothing but like Insta360 or the GoPros or, any of those cameras, and those I would still, that could still be considered pro because that is kind of their full time.
It's paying the bills.
So it's very interesting. There's I remember, I think it was just a few years ago. There's a creator called Cash Bunny on Instagram. If you haven't seen her, I'd say check her out. She's been doing a bunch of like VFX stuff, and she kind of blew up over the pandemic. But even then, when she started like working with Insta360, she was making whole videos with Insta360 cameras, and it was kind of very visually stunning. So I don't like, in that term, I would not write them off. Like, once again, that is not the type of stuff that I usually create, so it's not something that goes within my line of work. But then there's whole, I feel like there's even whole brands like Red Bull that use like their entire brand is set on action cams, right? Like that's how they capture their most iconic shots. So yeah, I feel like there's also what was that movie in I think it was like 2014, 2015, entirely shot on GoPros, the
body cam movie.
Yeah.
I know exactly.
Hardcore Henry. Yeah.
Hardcore Henry.
That's the one. So
God, was that 2014? Jesus, I feel old.
Yep, I believe so.
The vomitorium.
Yep. Yeah, but they leaned into it. That was the ultimate test to it. I have not seen another movie like that since, probably for a reason. But yeah, I feel like for the brands and for the people who that is their like professional brand, then this is like all, these cameras totally work for them, right?
Yeah.
But then integrating it into productions, well, again, like, I mean, like they're used for crash cams, like you said, Michael Bay started using them early on and stuff. So, yeah, I feel like I'm curious on like what you were touching on, Jordan, in terms of them just like pushing these features into these cameras at what expense, and like at what, like
that's a literal expense.
Really, yeah, exactly. And who is it really for? Because then they're kind of drawing on this boundary of like the people who use them already. They're like, this is good enough. This is all I need. I need this camera to like be thrown at and doing all this stuff. I'm not. Right. I don't care about however many stops of latitude. So I am curious to see like what this push is going to lead to.
Well, I know I can speak to when we did another documentary. We're just documentary the podcast this week. When we did the Blair Bunting thing, when I'm doing this video, I'm like, it's like a vlog camera, family camera. I'm really frustrated with the Mission 1 Pro, but man, would it have been nice to have a camera with better thermals, more DR, and things like that. Again, my concern is, would it have been out of focus? Yeah. Did we have 2 feet of clearance to get it?
It would have been real.
It would have been really pushing it at the edge there.
2 feet, yeah.
2 feet is wild, man.
Plus the fact, like, the camera profile is much thicker. The front face is about the same, but from front to back, the camera's like double the thickness.
Yeah.
Which in the U2 spy plane, every inch matters. So it's it's a funny thing.
Yeah, because we were back almost touching the glass of the canopy where we set it. And like, I feel like we would have been pushing it way back there just to try and make sure that the front of his helmet was not out.
Yeah.
And at the same time, just to kind of make this clear, Jordan, the opinion is like the casual user should not buy these cameras. Like they're not going to appreciate the benefit. Don't get it thinking like, oh, my home videos are going to look even more epic than they did before. Is that kind of the idea?
I could see like for indoor things, like if you're doing indoor motocross or something like that, like hell yeah, it's going to be worth it. It is dramatically better in low light than a classic action camera. But it's just, you've got to think about those limitations when you're framing stuff up. But again, it's just a smaller audience. Like the action cam market was like, a lot of I'm going on vacation, or, my kid just wants something for bike riding to have fun with and stuff like that. And these cameras aren't that. But they are definitely getting close to stepping on the toes of like a dedicated camera that could do a better job. Would I rather have one of these Action 1 Pros, or would I rather stick a GH5 somewhere? Like, the GH5 is bigger, but I can focus it wherever I want to, have an articulating screen, that kind of stuff.
So then let's talk about then, because Dima, you brought this up too, this idea that, okay, what do we define a professional use case as? And so let's talk about like a very sort of movie set use case. Let's say you're going to mount this on the bumper of a car facing forward, or you're going to put this on the front of a bike, or you're going to have this like, on an arm sticking off of an airplane wing or something like that. So in those kind of cinematic situations, does this then make sense to have the larger sensor, even the option to put like Micro Four Thirds cinema lenses on the Key Mission that has that mount? Like,
mission, not Key Mission.
Yeah, geez, I did it. It's
not just me.
Yeah, it's not just you. What is the, like, is there merit there in that situation?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think the interchangeable lens version of this camera makes almost no sense.
Okay.
I do think, because then suddenly you've sacrificed your whole durability thing. You're strapping a movie lens to the front of this. So why wouldn't you just use there's tons of small cinema cameras out there. Yeah, that camera doesn't make sense. The Mission 1 Pro, in those situations where the depth of field's not going to be a problem, it will give you, like I said in the video, the best looking action camera footage I've ever seen.
Okay.
So it would make a lot of sense in those shots where, you're going to every take is going to cost you tens of thousands of dollars. What's a couple $100 more over a standard action camera? Not going to make it. And they will have some. The GoPro, though, I'm specifically looking at as like, this has to save the company. They don't have a new exciting black coming out. It's been almost 2 years at this point. Maybe they'll have something in the fall, but
if they make it to the fall.
Yeah, exactly. But these, like, I know we're just seeing so many of the DJI and Insta360 cameras out in the world right now. Like, they really are eating their lunch. So it just seems like making a very niche product to save the company is an odd decision. But I think they're just like, we don't know what else to do. I think that was also part of the thinking with this. What about gimbal cameras?
Yeah,
I was gonna.
Yeah, the gimbal cameras are an interesting case because they already sucked up one of the possible use cases to buy an action camera, which was to like have the versatility to do that, to use it as an action camera or stick it on a gimbal or whatever and do the thing. And GoPro, by the way, is still selling all of those parts to do that with this thing. Like one of the things that we got in our original briefing 2 months ago was that they have a whole ecosystem of gimbals and lights and stuff that you can mount this to and hold it. But you did bring up a good point, Jordan. Your arm has to be real stinking long in order to make that work. Gimbal cameras, on the flip side, do have a pretty close focusing distance, and they have
autofocus.
Yeah,
great. Yeah, solves all the problems.
And they also are very now performant. They're using Type 1 sensors as well. At least for one of the two cameras. I guess what you can talk about is the Osmo Pocket 4, not the 4P with its single camera, and then the Luna Ultra. And the Luna Ultra is cheaper than the GoPro, but still quite expensive.
Yeah.
Are the people, and here's the other thing I'll preface this with, I'm noticing on social and like showcasings of all of these cameras, these gimbal cameras, they're showing like crazy cool cinematic moves, super high color graded, like beautiful footage that you can get with these things.
Yep.
But is that what people actually buy these for? And like, who are they marketing towards? And how does that work?
Well, I mean, I think they're already, the Pocket 3 was a real sweet spot of price and what it was capable of, because those things are everywhere. Like, you didn't see Pocket 2s in the world, or 1s really, but the 3s, we always joke when we're traveling, like the world supply went to people who are tourists in Japan because they're all carrying these. It really hit the sweet spot for that. But I think with all of these, they're like, what more can we do to it? You can only pack so much tech into a small camera without making it more expensive. If you want better functionality, it's got to move up market. So yeah, the question is, when is that going to be worth it for a lot of people? Like, I think the functionality of having two cameras, totally worth it. With some caveats we're going to be able to talk about one day, hopefully, God willing. But using the Luna, the functionality upgrades of it, of being able to pop the screen off, remotely control myself, changed the way I was filming. Like, I hate filming myself, and it is a job for a lot of people. Like, very few creators are as lucky as Chris and I to have two people generally. So for that, if you're paying the bills with it and it makes your life 10% easier, let alone, I would say this made my life 120% easier having the Luna out on that shoot. It's absolutely worth it. So that's where that tech is going towards something that has a real benefit. And when I sent it off to Jaron, he said, like, I think we're at the threshold now with these action camera or the gimbal cameras where they're usable for professional work. Like you said, that the shutter speeds were too fast, but it looked good. It was solid.
that's like that touches on this whole launch situation issue, which is not actually about the products. It's how they're being marketed. Like the Luna Ultra's accessories aren't available yet to anybody. We don't even have them. Like the reviewers couldn't get the ND filters for them, which is insane. So like I don't understand. I have a feeling it's because they launched before Insta360 was ready. That's really what it was. Is Insta360 thought they were going to launch like a week later, but even then the parts are still not available now, today, as we're recording this. So maybe not. I could just be making that up. But it would be nice to be able to have those things so that I could actually really tell you how I feel about that camera with proper shutter speeds.
That's the battle that really interests me, is this gimbal battle that's going on right now. I think is really exciting because like for the longest time it was the Pocket series, and now Insta360 is making some interesting stuff too, and other companies are going to jump on board. And obviously you don't want to put a gimbal camera underwater, you don't want to take it swimming or anything like that. But what's different is GoPro doesn't really have a good gimbal camera solution.
Yeah, they make a gimbal that you can put a GoPro on, but it's not a dedicated all-in-one solution, and it's bulky.
Exactly. But Insta360, DJI, these companies do have action cameras as well as gimbal cameras, and they also have integrated mic systems. So from a creator's standpoint, from a vlogger's standpoint, from a YouTuber standpoint, that ecosystem makes so much more sense that you can get an action camera, mic setup, and gimbal camera all from the same manufacturer. You know it's all going to grade the exact same way. You know that it's going to work with all those microphones without any sort of issues. That's a huge convenience factor that GoPro doesn't have and cannot match. And so I think that's going to really punish them coming forward.
Well, I mean, like GoPro has their microphone. They didn't arrive in time for our review, but they do have their own solution. Who knows who's making them, of little transmitters very similar to the other ones that'll directly talk to the camera. And their ecosystem is the Mission 1 Pros.
You did it.
And then the Hero series for like your supplementary smaller cameras. But they're not making drones because theirs were falling out of the sky 10 years ago. And they're not making, they have a 360 camera as well at this point, but it's certainly not as popular as the Insta options. I don't think their software is quite as good. So they're playing catch up in all these places. And I think that's why they're really struggling, where, Insta360 probably had a nice advantage by just taking staff from DJI and having, hitting the ground running with their version.
Right.
What DJI.
But as we've already, they make a gimbal. You're not going to be sticking the Mission 1 on this gimbal, right? Because
you can't.
It's basic. Yeah, but it's basically unusable for vlog style stuff.
It would be difficult, I think. I think if you put the bottom handle on, which is similar to the one that you find on the Osmo Pocket 3 and 4, it has like that tripod handle that will give you the added length you need with your arm to get there. But it's a $230 in addition to the camera and all. And I think the mics are separate too. So by the time you buy everything that you would get with an Insta360 or DJI gimbal camera, you're almost twice as expensive.
Yeah. I think minimalism and convenience is going to be such a big selling feature, even more so going forward.
So you say that, the minimalism and convenience, but they're not really that minimal as far as the features that they're trying to push. Like you have to know what you're doing. And I don't know how many people are just going to shoot in standard as opposed to log.
That adds to my point. People like DJI and Insta360 because they're simple. The great thing about the Pocket 3 is it's dead simple. I think that's the biggest benefit to that is a YouTuber can use it, a creator can use it, but also a person walking through a touristy area will use it, right? I mean, just walking around with it in their arm, and it's the same people using the same technology for different reasons.
There's also something interesting. I feel like, especially with the gimbal cameras, that it seems like you guys were saying, they're packed with features and they're looking pretty good and clean now. But there's one thing with like drawing, going back to this definition of where the Pro line is drawn. As soon as you see, to me at least, as soon as you see one of these gimbal cameras, maybe you start to see, first you're like, oh, there's smooth movement, it all looks very clean, and then you start to see like the walking bobble of the cameras. And that for me, that seems to drop it below the pro light. So I feel like it's almost how like the operator skill and like how it is used more than the technical aspects of it. Because even like with all the gimbal cameras, or at least in this range that we're talking about, that almost always bleeds through as soon as you see that like walking bobble, you're like, okay, cool. This is. I mean, there's the DJI Ronin chicken camera. The what is it? The 4D,
the chicken.
like the 4-axis one. I actually haven't I don't know. I haven't seen it used that much on big sets. I've seen like some cool shots from it that, you know, like oneers and one-offs that have been used, but I haven't seen it like that widely publicly adopted. I don't know. Maybe you guys have different info on it, but something like that to where it isolates that part. And I feel like that's kind of where that pro line starts to get drawn of like, you can do these long, very composed, very kind of stabilized shots and still get that clean and crisp image from it.
Yeah, jokes were definitely made at my expense in Japan when I was chicken walking with the tiny little Luna. It looks pretty ridiculous, but it does make a big difference to minimize the bounce on those things a little bit. I think the question here is what's going to be valuable for who? Because they can talk about 17 stops of dynamic range, which means nothing to the people who bought a Pocket 3 to go on vacation. They don't care. They're not going to learn to grade this log footage.
No, they're not even going to get anywhere close to that 17.
Doesn't matter. The second camera, that's something that people will be like, oh, yeah, a little portrait focal length. Oh, it looks really cool when I'm zoomed in and move it. You know, the background is moving in my shot. That's something that's going to be really appealing. So now they're trying to please two audiences. Like, I think the middle ground is like the Pocket 4B, like the Pocket 4 Basic is something that should be there, where they don't have to do, you know, a super fancy sensor and stuff like that. Just get the usability with two cameras ironed out. I think that would be a very popular option. But the pros are also going to be struggling because, like on the Luna, I was complaining I'm shooting log on the camera without a histogram, no way to meter the shot. I actually have to go into the menu to even check if the meter thinks it's over or underexposed with the exposure that I've done. I have to pull out my phone, connect it to the app in order to check my exposure, at which point the Luna is no longer making my life 120% easier. It is making it 5% easier at that point, which is not why I'm going to drag that thing around. So yeah, I think we're going to see in the next little while, I think it's actually already happening. Like the Luna Ultra and the forthcoming 4P, those are professional products. But I think if they want to just keep expanding it by making really basic consumer stuff more performant and raising the price, they're going to be disappointed because people aren't going to take advantage of so much of that. Like, grading log? Are you kidding? I'm going to talk to my nieces and nephews like, this is a great camera if you grade the log. They're like, go away, old man.
Grade the what? What is grade mean? Last question for you, Jordan. Can you have a preview LUT on when you're using the log footage on the Luna Ultra? Or are you looking at desaturated
No,
log
you're
footage?
looking at a log image. I should double check that because I don't want, if I don't have a histogram, I don't want a preview image. So I think I'm clipping stuff that's not clipping. Like that seems like a recipe for disaster to me. But so I'm I'm not saying officially no preview LUT, but I didn't use one when I did that shoot. For the reason I just mentioned, if you're going to be shooting log, you need some information for your exposure.
All righty. Good conversation. Good talk. What have you been up to? Dima.
Me? I've honestly just been cranking out videos for you guys. I've been kind of getting a few under my belt already, getting to kind of get in the feel of making these videos because you guys do this all the time and this is something relatively new for me. So that's been the most exciting thing. I don't know.
When
What's
can
that
people
experience
expect
been
to
like?
see more than your head and shoulders? Sorry, Chris.
I'm sorry, say again?
When is the first episode dropping so people can see more than your head and shoulders like we've got right now?
We're planning on just in over a week, I believe. So
Nice.
yeah.
And how have you been finding this experience of creating content in this way?
I don't know how you guys get all the multiple angles of yourself and how you have time to set everything up because
There's two of us.
There's two of you, but oftentimes there's been one of me, and I'm like,
Yeah,
I
it
have to like
sucks.
run over there and set that up, and then run back here. So it's been interesting. I was in New York doing the wireless microphone, the wireless mic review, which was very repetitive and tedious, but thankfully I had a second person helping me out. So I'm like, oh, good, this works. I need more of this.
It's huge.
Chris.
What have I been up to? I've been trying to organize, do inventory. You know, we always have a lot of gear and stuff like that. And so it's been kind of a maintenance week of like clearing out my crawl space in the basement, you know, organizing boxes. I've got so many backpacks that I need to address, camera bags, everything, you know, just sometimes you just have to go through and sort of look and be like, okay, I need a mental image of what I have, what I don't have, what I need to take care of and not. Charging batteries, that's like a constant full-time job, is going through and making sure that all the lithium batteries are topped up because you don't want them sitting empty where they get trashed. Yeah, and you know, it's like there's something funny about organizing a space where it actually looks like absolute dog's breakfast before it actually, even though you're doing work to make it better, it actually looks worse. But yeah, so I'm surrounded by filth right now and I'm loving it, and I'm just trying to get a handle on all of the crap that is everywhere here. That's been my life. Otherwise, what? Yeah, that's been my life.
I can say like the last week was very difficult because, as Dima said, filming yourself sucks. And I got to the privilege, the delight of doing it twice last week. Which sucked, and I misspoke a ton, and we left them in the GoPro video because I couldn't go back. I had to re-record half the video the first time because of exposure issues, accidentally pulling the camera out of log and blowing out all my talking points. Went and did that again, and I wasn't going to go record it a third time, so I'd stop saying key mission. So y'all are just going to have to endure that. But the awfulness was tempered very quickly by Father's Day, where I did it the way I wanted, and it was pretty great. So we had some barbecue. The kids and I went out with my stepdad, saw the new Toy Story, which is unsurprisingly very good because they're all very good. My wife got me a barbecue. I haven't had one in a while. I barbecued some steaks, and then I finished it up watching Master and Commander with my son. So on Threads, I said, what dad-ass dad movie should I watch on Father's Day? And that was the audience pick, and they were right, because I liked that movie when I saw it 20 years ago. Watching it now, straight up masterpiece. Got the 4K disc, HDR, amazing. What a great film. What a great day to punctuate all of the filming myself. And if you think it's done, it's not. There's another Jordan hosted video dropping very shortly here. So sorry, everyone.
I did not talk about my Father's Day experience, but my Father's Day experience was great as well.
I saw you teaching your daughter how to take pictures.
Yeah, we had a great time. I went out with my oldest son and my daughter, and he's a photographer as well. So we went and took photos, and then we ate Chengdu street food in Calgary, which is incredible. Thank you.
Back-to-back references.
Dude, it's
to this
so
place.
good. Yeah, and then I met my younger son that evening because he was working all day, and we had Chinese hot pot. So it was actually full Asian experience and lots of chili oil, and that may have destroyed certain members of my family. But I've got iron guts. I'm good.
When we were in Alaska, do you guys remember that I was a big fan of the barnacle hot sauce?
Yeah. I just had some the other day. We had tacos. Yeah.
Yeah. So
the habanero.
My mouth is watering. I'm just thinking about it. So I've been buying barnacle hot sauce directly from them since, and I am going through it at a alarming rate. So I just purchased the half-gallon size that you can get from them because I can't keep it in stock.
Which flavor?
Ridiculous.
Serrano.
The Serrano's very good.
The Serrano, and I think if I buy another half-gallon, it'll be the
almost 2
Bullwhip
liters
Fury.
of hot sauce.
Yes,
that's nuts.
It's a big old
It's
jug.
so good.
I'm
like
curious
a milk,
how long
like
it
a
lasts
milk
me.
carton of hot sauce.
Yeah.
That's bizarre, dude.
Because I use it as like a sauce on so many things. Like I just cover it. So
could they sponsor this pod? I will give them a 15-minute ad read. No question.
Barnacle stuff is great. Because the reason I thought about this, Chris, is they also make a chili crisp. It's very, very good. Like,
Dang, man.
Laugon,
It was
Ma,
yummy.
watch out. Barnacles there. What I've been up to, actually, besides spending money on hot sauce, I spread they call it a unit. It's half a dump truck of bark.
Oh, yeah, I saw this on Insta.
Yes.
In my yard. I had to get that done before the heat got too bad. So that got delivered on Saturday, and I fully spread it throughout the yard by Sunday morning. Then I went and I did pick cherries. I bought 13 pounds of cherries. I pitted 10 of those pounds and froze them.
Too many cherries.
Yeah, you can't eat them all at once. And then I also finally, because
Barn Schneider over here. Jeez.
the room where I wanted to hang my pictures was finally no longer under construction, because that wall was going to fall down due to mismanagement by previous owners. So that's been fixed. And I finally hung up my panoramic pictures.
They look so good.
And they look
they look so good
next to my piano. So there you go.
Nice.
That's what I've been up to. All right, tech support, because Chris hates it when we don't leave time for tech support, and I'm with him. We're going to lead off with a video that was sent to us that wanted to discuss our takes on L-mount autofocus performance. Chris, take it away.
Yeah. So to give context, we were having a conversation about autofocus performance and respective autofocus performance. And I think the context is, we got to remember, like, we're not saying, and we said this on the podcast too, but nobody is saying that Panasonic cameras cannot autofocus and do sports in action. What we are always talking about is relative comparisons between the brands. But I do get that people will still be like, well, but you said something about a brand of camera that I use and I don't necessarily agree. And that's fine. And so we had a viewer who has their own channel. This is Keyin, and actually the channel is Keyin, Key-IN. And I mean, I will say, like, this is the way to do a rebuttal. I do respect this guy very much. Young photographer, shoots Panasonic for a lot of professional stuff. And so he made this rebuttal video, and he did a really good job. I mean, he's cutting in what we said. He's cutting in context of who he is and where he's coming from, and then he showed his samples from dance photography that he was doing. And dance is action. It is in low light, which is tricky for autofocus situations. And so he did a test, and he was finding his hit rate was excellent, that he had almost no shots out of focus. And I guess the first thing I want to say is respect to Keyin for rebutting our statements in this way, right? Because most people's rebuttals on comments are like, you guys are hacks. You have no idea what you're doing, blah, blah, blah. I can focus like a fly from 1,000 yards away with mine. You guys suck, blah, blah, blah. And this guy's like, look, I want to give a real world test, show you how I did it. And great. And look, like,
I've linked that video, by the way, below if you want to watch it. It's an unlisted video, but he said I could share it.
This is great. It's great to be able to, like, show off your work in this way and kind of, state your opinion in this way. So good for Keyin. And like, look, dance photography, there's movement, there's action, eye detect, people turning away, turning towards cameras. It's not unchallenging work. There's difficulty there, and it is a difficult thing. I think when we're talking about the context of sports, action photography, we're talking about hit rates in terms of fast moving objects coming towards and away from the camera, acquiring subjects at a distance in the sky, sports in action, sudden appearances of athletes from areas like over skill or something. I do still think you are going to get a better, more consistent hit rate out of cameras like Sony's, Nikon's, Canon's, and we do in our job see situations where these cameras can do a great job and situations where they might struggle. And we've said this about Fujifilm cameras in certain contexts, Panasonic cameras in certain contexts, Nikon for a long time in certain contexts. And so, yeah, I mean, this is great. This is all adding to the discourse, giving more information, showing a use case where you did have success. Absolutely. So yeah, good job, Keyin, for the way that you did this. I still think Panasonic cameras will give me a lesser hit rate than for example, Sony's or Canon's and stuff in certain high intensity situations like sports and wildlife. But there's lots of situations. And have we, and this brings it back, sorry, I keep going, but like this does bring this back to an often used comment, which has validity, which is, like we used our grandpa's cameras 40 years ago and we were still able to get these shots. And yes, absolutely you can. in no way, shape, or form are we saying don't buy Panasonic, they suck for photography. We're saying that when push comes to shove in extreme situations, we don't feel you're going to get the same hit rate. That doesn't mean that you can't still absolutely get fantastic photos in demanding situations when the autofocus works. But we do notice certain differences in consistency and usability and convenience, or how much you have to set up the camera to get it to behave in the first place and stuff like that. So anyways, check out his video. He did a very good job on it.
Linked below. All right, next one is a speak pipe from Adam. Riverside changed up this media board, so if it doesn't immediately play, I'll try and figure out why.
Hey, PetaPixel crew. Real quick, I just want to say thank you for all that you guys do. I've been a member for over a year, and I highly recommend if anyone who's listening is not a member, and they're sitting on the fence, please go ahead and do that. We all love this show, and they're here for a reason, so take advantage of that. I think my question is relatively simple, maybe, but I'm just curious. What happens to pre-production units after they've been sent out to people to be tested and reviewed, and then they're sent back to the manufacturer? If I remember correctly, I think Jaron was talking about he knew that his X106 pre-production unit that he tested was going to be destroyed. I think I'm remembering that correctly. Is that generally what happens? Or because you can't market them as new, obviously, at that point, but like, would you be able to clean them up and make sure everything's up to snuff and put them up as refurbished? Or just literally what happens to them? Thank you, guys.
Yeah, I can't.
I got an answer for that.
Oh, do you, Dima?
Yeah.
I can't say that I know for a fact they destroyed it. I just think they did.
Yes,
Dima?
yes, it is destroyed. There's a couple of reasons for it. So there's different kind of iterations that come out before production goes, and I'll speak on the X100 and the Fujifilm kind of just the general vibe of it. So. When they are made from prototype or pre-production, they are usually not made with the final production parts. So some things tend to maybe wear out sooner. Some things tend to kind of not be final, not like up to snuff. So what happens is if those units do actually go out to market, they might get destroyed a lot faster, and so that then the brand reputation kind of starts to suffer. So what they want to make sure to do is that even if they, I don't think they even reuse the parts. I think all of the pre-production, everything below that point gets taken back and gets fully destroyed. So that's
thrown in a wood chipper, as we put it, but it's probably something a little bit more fancy than that. But yeah. Destroyed.
They might recycle the main components that they already know that are final, but there's a lot of things that they want to make sure that they dial in, and this testing process. So within that process, some parts are not going to be up to snuff. So that's why.
Yeah. They were adamant they send it back.
We do know some people who have worked for these companies who have been known to save something from the chipper before it goes through, but obviously they could never sell it or anything like that. It's a keepsake that's probably going to live in a closet at that point.
Well, and as you say, Dima, it's an interesting question, and it's not an easy answer because it is very complicated, right? Like, as you say, there are many iterations. There probably will be cameras that are released in a lot of cases for us to review, which you might call media samples or review samples, right? And they might be final production hardware, but they don't have production firmware, and so I imagine and they'll often be labeled differently, like media sample, not for sale, blah, blah, blah. Serial numbers will obviously be cataloged differently than the regular stuff. And, those might then get updated to full firmware and be used as media samples or loaner units, in the future by sales reps or whatever. But it's a complicated answer, but absolutely it makes sense that these manufacturers, as crazy as it might seem, do not want any sort of pre-production parts out into the market. That makes perfect sense. You might think, well, can't you give it to a kid in Africa? No, that's not how it works. We got to be careful with this, right? It's very specific.
All right. Next one is a speak pipe from Darren. And this is working, so that's good.
Hey guys, it's Darren from Toronto here.
Great city.
Love the show. I listen to it constantly, typically via audio streams like Spotify. Sorry for not giving you that YouTube revenue. However,
forgiven.
Just want to let you know that your intro song is awesome. I love sitting in my car drumming along to the intro on my steering wheel. However, I realized that I listen to the audio in 1.2 factor, and I think the song is great. And then when I watch you guys on YouTube the odd time, I hear the intro song and it's slower and doesn't sound as good. Just want to let you know, the song sounds better at 1.2. However, if you switch it to 1.2 or if you speed it up, then when I listen to it at 1.2, it just won't be as good. It'll be too fast. So just ignore everything I said and keep doing what you're doing. Love the show. Thanks, guys.
Perfect
all right.
speak pipe.
Yeah. All right. So
Well done.
This is what it sounds like at 1.2. I had never heard it at that, other than maybe the pitch changing. I think that Spotify will actually adjust it so the pitch doesn't change.
It will, yeah.
Yeah. But this pitch is different. So I don't know. This is...
Well, Jordan likes it.
I can see why he likes that. 1.2x does sound a little better.
There you go. a little energy.
But now that's going to sound real weird for you, Darren, when you play this back at 1.2, because that's going to take the 1.2 and 1.2 it, and that's going to sound odd. So,
Or you might be like, wait, it's even better. Everybody got
it goes even further beyond.
Yeah.
All right, Mason, you're up. You've got a speak pipe for us.
Hey guys, Mason here. Just wanted to say big thank you for the work you put into your weekly podcast. I really enjoy listening and find it entertaining while also wonderfully informative at the same time. So thank you for that.
That's what we strive for.
My question today is about video. I recently purchased a Canon R6 Mark III. I've been doing photography now, primarily portraits and events, for about 10 years, and I wanted to transition into learning how to shoot video as well. So that was the reason for my choice of camera, besides the fact I was already in the RF mount system. So the question is, do you have any good recommendations for a video course? Something to get my feet wet, preferably not an expensive option, but to kind of learn it and figure out the ropes and start off my video journey with a informative course for that. So, yeah, thank you. I will look forward to hearing back from you.
It goes to Dima and Jordan.
Yeah, I'd love Dima's take on this actually first.
I'm trying to think of like what, and maybe, I mean, hey, this is something that, if there's demand for this, I'm happy to make videos along this route too, to where we can just like go over several topics in a line. I'm trying to think what would be a good the best video course to me is like watching films and then watching the BTS on those films. Like if you guys have ever seen the listeners Corridor Crew, like when they do the VFX breakdowns, I love that stuff. Like that is, and they talk about filmmaking techniques as well. So I think content like that, where you just get bits and pieces and you can relate it to the actual film that you're seeing, to the actual final product, to me that is the kind of the most useful content.
Yeah, I think there was kind of a wonderful heyday. So some of the footage here and the references to camera models and stuff like that will be out of date. But the early like DSLR video boom, mirrorless thing, where everyone was trying to wrap their heads around classic filmmaking at a budget, there was so much good stuff produced there. Like I remember specifically Caleb Pike made a whole series of stuff that was very well thought out. Dave Dugdale as well back in the day. So it's a little bit dated now. I would love to know some good contemporary sources because there's plenty of it out there, but they're generally behind a paywall, the really comprehensive courses. People might ask why we've stopped doing tutorial content. It just doesn't work for us. Like Chris and I specifically, people don't go to us for that. So you know what? This is one where I'm going to throw to the listeners. Hit me with some that you really like. I will talk about them on the podcast next week. So drop them down below. Some people with great video tutorials that are maybe a little bit more contemporary.
All right. Let's do one more, even though we're a little past time. I don't
Ooh.
care. We're going to do one more. Let's do one from Tim.
Hey gang, I attended CP Plus yesterday for the first time, and whilst it was cool of course to see all the massive displays from the larger camera manufacturers, what I found was the most fun was looking at the smaller companies that make slightly more niche products. So the one that really caught my eye was Xenons, or Zonon in Japanese, a company that make turrets for your camera instead of lenses and use diffraction to focus light instead of the usual refraction, which gives a rather unique look to the resulting images. In particular, I love their slogan, which translates to, it will not be a product that everyone wants, but it will be a product that someone wants. So I was wondering if there were any other niche products that have caught your eye recently, which, well, not everyone will want, but someone will want, either at CP Plus or more generally. Thanks again for all your work.
I like that. That's so Japanese. Like that perspective. It just makes something very specific that one person may really want. I don't know. My panoramic cameras feel like that for sure.
Yes, you are. It's a real like DIY renaissance over there in that side of things. Chris, any novelty glass or cameras that have been kind of?
I was thinking about this question, and I'm boring in this regard. I don't love niche product. Like, it's cool going to these shows, trade shows, but I'm not enamored by like new glass and new lenses. You know, I like small, compact. I like what I like. I'm not really too fancy. Like, you know, like Laowa makes some really cool optics. It's fun to play with them, but it's not stuff that I would often really use creatively myself, you know? What I always find fascinating when I go to a trade show is actually the weird peripheral stuff. I really like seeing new kinds of wrist straps, or like, you know, you go to Small Rigs display and you're seeing all of this crazy cage stuff and you're like, wow, it's like mind-boggling how I would use this or what I would edit with this, or, you know, how I would manipulate with this. Tripod technology, like, you know, strange stuff like that. Those are the niche products that fascinate me. Doesn't mean I like them. Often they turn out to be really hokey and silly, but I enjoy that part of going to a thing like NAB or going to Build or going to CB Plus, where you get to see the peripherals, because I feel like that's where a lot of ingenuity happens. When it comes to the actual camera stuff, I'm like, yeah, lens is a lens. I've seen that. I don't know. That's my opinion.
Have you guys seen? So I think I saw it at NAB. There's this new-ish product. I don't know if it's just the one company that makes it, but however you pronounce it, ZILR. They have this. They have this like this
all Ziller, no filler.
Yeah. They have this cart. It's not a camera cart. It's like a camping cart. But it's motorized, so it has a seat. So I saw somebody zipping around NAB on this thing, and it looked very goofy, but also like probably very practical, because you can fold this thing up and roll around on it. So just something that came to mind.
Tell you what, we'll come back to that idea in the next month or so. Not this exact product, but Jordan has something to show you eventually.
Don't you dare spoil this for me.
I'm not spoiling anything.
Yeah, okay.
That's it. That's all I'm saying.
Dima's enthusiasm is shared. We'll leave it at that. Because I'm mostly just using workhorse glass, so I really look forward to any chance I get to use some more interesting optics. Like I remember when we were in Chile, I got to use a little bit of Jaren's M-mount stuff. I believe it was Typoc that I was adapting on there. So anything like that I find really enjoyable. When I'm doing filmmaking, the last thing I worked on, God knows how long ago, was Nikon AI lenses. I really enjoyed that experience. So that's something I would do for fun. Absolutely. Because I need stuff that is consistent and quick. So often when I'm shooting the show, I just don't get to play with fun glass as much as I'd like to. And I have really enjoyed the look of the Aizu Primes. But I want to be clear. They are the opposite of the Luna. They have made my life dramatically worse. But harder. I love the look.
Harder.
That's true.
I don't know if it's worse. Well, harder.
But yes,
it
is
pays
absolutely
off
fair.
With beauty.
The comments are always a delight when those things come through. So, I don't know. Maybe I need to do like a fun lens Wednesday once a month or something like that. Pull out a vintage optic and shoot the video on it. That might be a fun change of pace. That would be I haven't seen anything recently at a trade show besides the micro fogger where I was like, oh man, I want to play with that. That
micro
rocks.
fogger was cool. Yeah. Micro fogger was cool.
All right. I'm going to wrap it up with the feel-good story of the week. You can eat your popcorn from an IMAX camera bucket. while watching The Odyssey. If you were lucky enough to get your hands on one of these, they are, of course, sold out now.
Yeah.
You can find them on eBay.
Much like Odyssey IMAX tickets that you will never be able to experience because they're all sold out forever.
Oh, that's a shame. But yeah, this is a camera bucket. And Jordan, I'm so sorry because I bet you would have loved this.
Yeah, this rocks. It's cool as hell. And I'm sure it's selling for hundreds of dollars already at this point. I think it is so cool how filmmaking, like 15 years ago, if people were like, you know, everyone's going to get excited about seeing films in different aspect ratios shot on different analog cameras, I would have been like, that is madness. That has all gone away and everything sucks now. But it's not the case. We have been discussing all kinds of different film formats. Should I see this in AVX? Do I need laser projection? Oh, which format of IMAX? Do I see it on Super 35 projected? I think it rules. So this is just an offshoot of that, where people care enough that they're going to celebrate an IMAX camera while watching the movie. So brilliant marketing. I wish them nothing but, honestly, I wish them a second run because then maybe I could get my hands on this thing.
So it's got a little slide in the viewfinder. You look through it,
there's a viewfinder with a scene from the Odyssey in it.
That's so cool, man.
It's rules.
Popcorn buckets are such a good idea, and they are going all in on them.
I think it's awesome. Like the movie theaters are like, what's something we can monetize that's actually fun? And yeah, this seems to be working really well for them.
Just make more of them.
Yeah.
Make more of
Dima,
this
do you want
stuff.
one?
Yeah, Dima, would you rock a popcorn bucket?
I don't know what I would do with it. I honestly
Put it
don't
on that,
Yeah.
that shelf
I don't
behind
even
you.
like popcorn.
It doesn't do it for me
Sorry,
either.
guys.
Just put some
I think they
chili
should-
in it or something. I don't know.
They should make more of this
sure they will.
plastic junk, get people to buy this plastic junk, and then use the profits from that to reduce the cost of the movie ticket in the first place so people will actually go to the movies more and more. Because, that's
2026 has been a banner year for film attendance. I think it's back.
All right.
Film culture is back, everyone.
There you go. Well, I
so.
felt good about that IMAX popcorn bucket. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Appreciate it. Dima, thanks for joining us this week. Listeners
guys.
will be hopefully very excited that your first video is coming up soon. And also, by the way, everyone listening, I keep mentioning my panoramic cameras. That has been, Jordan, you're showing the thing. You can only show it. You say no words
It's
about
coming.
Yeah.
It's coming. Get
it.
ready.
The panoramic camera, medium format camera comparison has been shot almost entirely. I'd say we're like 95% done. We need to do some product shots still. And I need to shoot the thumbnail still. But other than that, that video is in the can. That's coming too. And Dima shot it. It was really nice to have someone hold the camera. So.
Yeehaw.
I hear you.
All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll catch you next week. Thanks to DxO for sponsoring the PetaPixel Podcast. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.